What's up, guys? So I'm back. I'm going to do the UFC rundown for the fight night this weekend from the Metapex, or the Metapex, whatever you want to call it, from Las Vegas. The main event, Mario Bautista versus Vinicius Olivera. This is going to be a very interesting fight. It's at 135 pounds, bantamweight division. Mario Bautista opens at -175 as a favorite. Vinicius Olivera is +150. I believe this is the first time he's been the underdog in a fight. But he's taking on Mario Bautista, man. The guy is 2-1 in his last three, and he's fought the who's who in the division. He lost to Umar, which is not crazy, man. Umar beats everyone if you're not Merab Dvalishvili. He beat the legend Jose Aldo in a split decision win, and then he welcomed Patchy Mix to the UFC. And we saw what's happened with Patchy Mix. He's already been cut after 3 losses in a row. Mario Bautista is a tough son of a gun. He's coming out of Winnemucca, Nevada. So I have friends that are in Winnemucca. One of my good friends, Buck, actually sent me a picture. He was at a local watering hole up there, and Mario Bautista's dad was in there. They were cutting it up. Had a good little conversation. But I'm pulling for Mario on this one, but this is a tall task to ask, man. Vinicius Olivera is absolutely huge for the weight. At the press conference, he says he usually cuts around 23 to 24 kilos to make the 135 limit. And in kilos to pounds is just over 50 pounds. So he's walking around 185, 190, and then makes the cut down to 135. And that's why he said he can't be that active, because he has to go through so much to make the weight. The only guy that I know who fought at 135 who got that big, maybe not even that big, was Aljamain Sterling. Aljamain Sterling was huge for the division, and I know for sure he walked around 180. And if Vinicius Olivera is walking around bigger than that, 85, 90, man, that's a hell of a fucking cut. I mean, I thought I had a bad cut making 55, and I walked around at 90, 85, 90. So for him to go 20 extra pounds below lightweight at 55, which I had to make, he's going to 35. That's just not good for the body. I think he mentioned that he wants to go to featherweight, but he's still got this fight to go through. And Mario Bautista is not a guy you want to run out of gas against, man. He will take it to you. He's going to make it ugly. It might not be the most explosive, action-packed fight, but Mario Bautista is going to come out, get him to the ground, and do his best work. Olivera he's only a +150, so he's not completely counted out of this fight, because he does have explosive striking. He's good everywhere, and he's just so big for the division, man. So I think Mario, in the early rounds, he might have some trouble getting him down when he's fresh. But as the fight goes on, I believe it's a 3-round fight. I believe it's a 3-round fight. It might be a 5-round because it is the main event. If it's 5 rounds, Mario all day. If it's 3 rounds, it could be a toss-up. I'm going to still pick Mario Bautista either way, 3 or 5 rounds. Mario Bautista. He's ranked number 9. Vinicius Olivera is ranked number 11. I'm going to go Mario Bautista. I mean, the only reason he got knocked out of the top 5 was because he had the loss to Umar. But, that's nothing to be ashamed about. The co-main event, Amir Albazi is taking on Kyoji Horiguchi. Albazi is ranked number 6. Kyoji Horiguchi is number 8. He's coming off the big win against Tagir Ulanbekov. He won by submission in the 3rd round. This is his 2nd fight back in the UFC since 2016. The guy is an absolute legend, man. Kyoji Horiguchi looked absolutely spectacular in that fight against Tagir Ulanbekov. Amir Albazi is coming off the loss to Brandon Moreno. He beat Kaikar France by split decision before that, and Alexandre Costa by KO. Or he lost to Alexandre Costa by KO before that. Horiguchi is the big betting favorite. He's -400. Amir Albazi is +300. Kyoji Horiguchi actually got the call to fight Brandon Moreno after Alambayev pulled out of the fight earlier this week. He said he accepted the fight, but he still wanted to fight this fight and then fight Brandon Moreno 3 weeks from now in Mexico City. The UFC went away from that, and then, of course, replaced Alambayev with Lonar Kavanaugh from England, which is kind of a weird fight because Moreno's ranked number 5. Kavanaugh's ranked number 15. He's coming off a loss against Charles Johnson by KO. So to go from Charles Johnson, who's unranked, to Brandon Moreno, who's number 5 and a former 2-time world champion, it doesn't really make sense. But I don't think they wanted to scrap Brandon Moreno because it is Mexico City and he is the first ever Mexican champion ever in the UFC. So that's probably the biggest selling point for Mexico City card, having Brandon Moreno there. So I understand it from that point of view. But, I mean, it should be a layup victory for Brandon Moreno against Kavanaugh in the Mexico City card. But back to the Apex card. I'm taking Kyoji Horiguchi. He looked fantastic against Tagir Ulanbekov, which comes from the Habib and Islam camp, the Dagestani guys. He is Dagestani, and he beat him, not just beat him, he beat him by submission. So Kyoji Horiguchi is the real deal. I think if he puts away Albazi, he's going to be right there for a title shot next, 25, there's a lot of moving parts now because, Joshua Van won the title against Pantoja. I think they're trying to make Joshua Van versus Manel Kopp, and whoever wins that fight, Pantoja is going to come in and get the next shot. So Horiguchi might have to win this fight and another one to get the title. But, they could probably do, if he wins this fight, they could do Kyoji versus Tetsuo Taira, who just beat Brandon Moreno in Japan, because they did say they want to go to Japan. So have 2 Japanese guys on a fight night event to main event. That'd be absolutely amazing. So there's a lot of moving parts at 125 right now, but man, everything's looking good for Kyoji Horiguchi as long as he can get the win against Amir Albazi this weekend. The next fight down, the feature fight, Jailton Almeida at the heavyweight division. He's ranked number 6. He's taking on Rizvan Kuniev. Kuniev's coming off a loss, split decision loss against Curtis Blades. Jailton Almeida is also coming off a loss, split decision versus Alexander Volkov. But he beat Spivak by KO before that, and then Romanov by submission. Jailton Almeida looked good against Volkov, but he just ran out of gas. I think it was 1-1 going into the third, and Jailton Almeida just didn't do enough in that third round and let Volkov back into the fight because it is a split decision. So one judge actually had him winning the fight. The other 2 had Volkov winning the fight. I like Jailton Almeida on this one. Kuniev just didn't show me enough against Curtis Blades. And I think Almeida's going to make the adjustments after that loss against Alexander Volkov. The next fight down, Mikhail Olenjacek. He is from Poland, taking on Marc-Andre Barrio. Every time I bet on Marc-Andre Barrio, I lose. So I'm not even going to take that chance. I'm going Michael Olenjacek to beat Marc-Andre Barrio. He just lets me down every time. And I just can't keep going down that road. The next fight down, Jean Matsumoto from Brazil is taking off Ahib Bashara. I like Bashara on this fight. They don't have any betting odds, but he's coming off, I think he's 2-1 in his last 3. Matsumoto is 1-2 in his last 3. I like Bashara on this fight. The fight to open up the main card, Dustin Jacoby versus Julius Walker. Both guys are 2-1 in their last 3. I like Dustin Jacoby. I like his stand-up. Julius Walker is explosive. He's a physical guy, but I'm gonna lean Dustin Jacoby in this one. The prelim card, Alex Morono versus Daniil Donchenko from Ukraine. Alex Morono is 0-3 in his last 3. I'm taking Daniil Donchenko. I'm going with the Ukrainian guy. The next fight down, Nikolai Vechernikov from Kazakhstan is taking on Nico Price. I like Nico Price, but I'm going to go with the Kazakh fighter on this one. Next fight down, Bruna Brazil versus Ketlin Souza. Ketlin Souza is 1-2 in her last 3. Bruna Brazil, I believe, is also 1-2 in her last 3. I like Ketlin Souza. Yeah, she had a tough fight. The last one out against Rodriguez. She lost to Hill. Her last big win was against what's her name? Let me see. Hagiri, the Mexican fighter, Yasmin Yarrigue. She beat by submission And then on the other side, Ketlin Souza, let me pull it up, or Bruna Brazil, let me see it real quick. Yeah, she lost to Kong. Her last win, she lost to Lukumbumi from Thailand. Her last big win was against Molly McCann, the meatball. But I think Molly McCann was already on her way out. I'm going to give straight the schedule to Ketlin Souza. I think Ketlin Souza gets the win against Bruna Brazil. The next fight down, Javid Basharat, which is the brother of Fahid Basharat, is fighting Gianni Vasquez. He doesn't even have a picture on the UFC website. So I'm going to go Javid Basharat on this one. The next fight down is at the flyweight division, women's flyweight division. Wang Kong, ranked number 12, is taking on Eduarda Moura from Brazil, ranked number 13. I'm going Wang Kong on this one. She just looked better to me. Moura, I believe she's 1-2 in her last 3. Let me make sure. She's 2-1 in her last 3. She beat Macedo and Murphy, Lauren Murphy. That was her last fight. She was already cooked by then. I'm going Wang Kong. Strength of schedule, Wang Kong. Next down, Mufin Guvrov from Tajikistan is taking on Jacob Welkic from Poland. That is Joanna Jędrzejczyk's training partner, stablemate. He had the beautiful performance against Patchy Mix where he just out-grappled him, and that's supposed to be Patchy Mix's bread and butter, was the grappling and the jiu-jitsu. He beats Patchy Mix by split decision. It was his UFC debut. He did get worn out. He did gas out a little bit, but I think that had to do more with the UFC jitters, being on the on the big stage. I'm going Jacob Welkic to beat Muin Ghafarov from Tajikistan. And the last fight that they have scheduled here is Claudia Segula versus Priscilla Cachoeira. I'm going to go with the Polish fighters on this one, man. Claudia Segula from Poland to beat Priscilla Cachoeira from Brazil. Yeah, I'm going Claudia Segula on this one, man. That's my little rundown for the fight night from the Apex in Las Vegas. I'm really pulling for Mario Bautista in this fight. He's going to have his hands full, though. Vinicius Olivera is just explosive as hell. He's young, he's hungry, and he's huge for the division. But I'm going to go with Winnemucca, Nevada zone, Mario Bautista. Let's go, brother. Get it. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit the bell so you get the notifications. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.